2 1/4. And what's going on, fellow YouTubers? This is Craig L. Smith II here for another edition of Let's Draw on Something. As you know, and I've already said who I am. I'm along with my co-host of the Jimmy JSmoove Network, known as Jimmy JSmoove. Today, we're going to be talking about a whole lot of stuff. The highs and lows of college football so far. Surprising teams, disappointing teams, and vice versa. Let's Draw on Something has been brought to you in part by Limitless Naturals. Yes, that's right. Holla at my girl, the Sherb, aka Sherbert Ratliff in Memphis, Tennessee. Limitless Naturals. There is no excuse for any of your hairstyles to have that limitless potential. And also, Trey Styles, Customs and Designs even. Hit them up for all your NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB needs, along with family union shirts and special occasion shirts. Holla at my boy, Trey Styles, a.k.a. Trey Murphy, at 901-364-3698. So with that out the way, without further ado, what's going on, Jimmy J?
Man, live and direct, man. I'm just in chill mode right now, man. Pretty much everything is going as planned in terms of college football. Look like Ohio State is going to be in for a fight as of right now because Ohio State is down 7-0. But hopefully Ohio State going and be the team that stick to the plan as usual. And go on and get Wisconsin up out of there, man. Because if Ohio State loses, it's going to be
the biggest shakeup in history.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a shakeup because LSU, they did what they needed. They did the one thing they needed to do and that's beat the shit out of Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Boise State in their Mountain West Conference, they beat the shit out of Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's doing what they supposed to do in terms of winning. Memphis pretty much did what they needed to do, had a little scare, and do it. And they gone and beat Cincinnati, which Cincinnati's a rival in every fucking sport. So they're a rival in football. They're a rival in basketball. They're a hell of a rival in basketball. So,
definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So people really don't talk about how big of a rival they are in football, but they are what they are. So, but of course the big news is coming. You know what I'm saying? So, and we wasn't shocked at all. We wasn't shocked.
You kind of spoiled it.
We wasn't.
Wait a minute, Jimmy J spoiled it because that was breaking news.
Dude, everybody knows he was going to fuck.
Yeah, because he just agreed to the deal with Florida State, but he will coach the bowl game.
Yeah, that's the great thing.
As you know, as everybody knows, and my boy Jimmy Jaden spoiled it.
How am I spoiling it? How am I spoiling it? ESPN knows about it. If ESPN knows about it,
ESPN that's what. Wait a minute, we can't stand ESPN, and they be pulling them. Shit, we both can't stand ESPN, but hold on, we're gonna get on them in a minute. Mike Norvell, who will possibly be coaching his last game at the Cotton Bowl, has agreed to become the new coach at Florida State.
Yeah.
I think Florida State will be getting them a good coach, but then again, Jimmy, this is a nice little addition of Jimmy, an addition of Jimmy, please take the wheel on my behalf. Would you kindly enlighten some of these outdated, off-track, off-beat college football fans, mainly these Florida State fans,
Florida State criminal fans? That's what hell they are.
Shout out to my guy Trey Murphy because sometimes he flip flops opinions. He flip flop opinions more than Big Show be making babyface and heel turns in WWE. Would you kindly enlighten Florida State fans on what type of coach you getting? What type of coach you getting? What type of coach that they are getting? So Jimmy, please take the wheel.
Here's the thing, Florida State fans. The good thing about Mike Norvell is you're going to get a hell of an offensive genius in Mike Norvell. That is the upside. But his upside is his downside also, because sometimes he shits the bed when it comes to offensively. If you watch Memphis games the last 4 years, Mike Norvell, or I should say when Mike Norvell's not doing good, Mike O'Hale, you know what I'm saying? When he shits the bed, he shits the bed. Because sometimes he gets putties as quarterbacks, like Brady White. Brady White should not be starting for a college football team, but for some reason he found a way to make a putty out of a promising player. So that's,
in other words, he turned shit into sugar.
Basically. So, but here's the thing, Florida State fans. Here's the thing. If you gonna take our coach from us, because y'all Florida State, you got in-state talent, you pretty much got you pretty much got all the best talent from Central Florida to North Florida, pretty much from South Carolina, the South Carolina coastline on down to parts of the Gulf Coast. So you have pretty much Florida State, unless they're going to get them a top-rated quarterback or get them a top player that they cannot pass up, they pretty much got a talent base. So he's going to be able to recruit because Memphis have been like in the top 50 on Rivals.com. I think we made like number 30, number 20 something at one point in time. But nevertheless, recruiting is going to be the same, because Willie Taggart had 2 top 15 recruiting class and damn sure couldn't do a fucking thing with those top 15 recruiting class. But Willie Taggart is old news. Y'all paid him off, and y'all pretty much going to have a good coach. But nevertheless, give Mike Norvell some time. Give him some time. Do not, if Mike Norvell comes in here and have a losing season, don't be talking about, you want to fire this motherfucker, because he's got to get used to Florida, the environment of Florida State, because he's going from recruiting motherfuckers from the border states of Memphis metropolitan area to Florida. So he got to get familiar with that. Yes, it's going to be easier because he's going to have recruiting coordinators, but I know y'all want Florida State to go from top 15 to top 5 in recruiting again. You know what I'm saying? So he's got to get acclimated. He's got to build relationships with players, because players, when you lose a coach in terms of getting fired and shit like that, there are some emotions. So expect transfers in the process. Expect that. Kids are going to transfer in the process, because they may be like, Mike, oh hell, you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're going to call his ass. They're going to be like, oh, Mike, oh hell, instead of Mike Norvell. But for right now, I'm going to call him Mike Norvell, because he, at least, even if he gets his ass kicked in the Cotton Bowl, at least he gave us a conference title. And that says a lot. He's showing that he can, not only that, he shows the last 2 years that be conference runner-up, the last 2 years. So with that being said, stop y'all outdated ass, unrealistic ass expectation of these goddamn coaches.
Thank you.
Taggart was an unrealistic expectation. You took him from Oregon, basically robbed him from Oregon and shit like that. So, and then when you got Willie, you'd be like, well, we need to get rid of him. We need to get rid of him. Oh, we want Urban Meyer. And you couldn't get Urban Meyer. You wanted somebody else. So Mike Norvell, for them to hire Mike Norvell, it was pretty much a last resort, because there was some other top coaches out there, I think, that was pretty much better than Mike Norvell, to be honest with you. But, nobody else wouldn't take that bullshit job, because, Florida State, ever since Jimbo Fisher came in, it's been the hot seat. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think they would have ever fired Jimbo Fisher. That's the thing. Jimbo Fisher would have probably had another bad season, but they Florida State fan base is kind of like, you win us a championship, we love you. You know what I'm saying? You can't win us a championship, oh, fuck you. That's what they call it. You fuck you, sucker, ugly motherfucker. That's basically what the acronyms of Florida FSU is. But nevertheless, Mike Norvell University. Fuck Sucker University. So nevertheless, give Mike Norvell some time. Give him some time. Give him his 4 years. Don't fire him in 2 years, because you fire him in 2 years, you wasted the University of Memphis time and you wasted everybody else's time. Because he did a good job at Memphis. Some times where I think he should have You know, it was some times where I think he should have won more games. Because to me, in my personal opinion, University of Memphis football team should have been undefeated this year. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. And I didn't mean to cut you off. And possibly who they say, and if their opponent is who I think it is, Roll Tide. I gotta laugh on that because if Memphis plays Nick Saban, Mike Norvell is going to have to step his fucking coaching game up. He cannot, and I don't mean to interject on you, take the wheel. He is going to have to bring it. He can't be with this fuck shit script. He can't, and I'm going to be honest with you, Saban going to have to bring it too. He going to have to stop bringing with that fuck shit script too.
Well,
wait a minute. If Norvell does the unthinkable by beating St. Nick at the Cotton Bowl, I ain't got shit to say. But but like I said, if Memphis' opponent in that Cotton Bowl is who I think it possibly is, and they saying it may be Alabama, both coaches, Norvell gonna have his hands full, Saban gonna have his hands full, but they both gonna have to bring it. Mainly Mike Norvell, because he gonna have to prove to his new bosses down there in Tallahassee, Florida, that he can coach. He gonna have to bring it.
Well, he's already proved it by being able to recruit the way he's recruited.
Yeah, that's true enough. I give him props.
To get a non-Power 5 conference team to get in the top 30, because Houston is expected to be in the top 30 mainly because they don't have to go outside the city limits, basically. They don't even have to go outside the greater Houston area. Whereas Memphis, their typical talent base is usually in northern Florida, Atlanta, a lot of Alabama, all those little northern states.
Memphis has a couple players from Texas.
Yeah, so they've been able to build on those things, and then they've been able to get some pretty decent players out of the city of Memphis as well. So that's the great thing about Norvell. Norvell can recruit. You know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, can he get them in the top 5 in terms of recruiting? Can he compete with the big dogs of the SEC in terms of recruiting? Can he? That's going to be the question, because I expect him to get a top 20, top 15 recruit. Can he compete with Clemson again? That's going to be the biggest question at Florida State. Can you give us a conference title? Can you give us a national title at Florida State? Will you be able to coach these kids? How are you going to be able to live up to expectation at Florida State? So nevertheless, Mike Norvell, Mike Norvell, is going to have his hands full. But again, fans, give this dude some time. Give him some time. Don't go in there, with your unrealistic ass expectations like these Nebraska fans. Shout out to Nebraska, or Naflax, whatever the fuck you bitches is. So shout out to these bitch ass motherfuckers.
And they players can't keep their dick in their pants for some reason. Well, it's every year thing with Nebraska. Even when Tom Osborne was there, with the exception of Frank Solich when he was there. It was between Tom Osborne with all these rapes and all this other shit. Now under Scott Frost, these motherfuckers raping folks. God damn.
Well, the jury's out on that, because for all we know, it's still rumors. Unless you got surveillance cameras and know exactly what's going on, that's still rumors as far as we're concerned for that. But even in that department, man, guys got to get don't put themselves in positions to get accused of things. And that's why I tell people all the fucking time, and this is a thing to go out to you players, for you people, record everything you do. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're in one of those states that, that has all party consent, you know what I'm saying? Record shit. Record your shit so people won't, because I know Texas fall under one party consent. I don't know the law in Nebraska. I don't know the law. I know the law in California, New York, one party consent. So, you know what I'm saying? Nigga, get y'all a fucking body cam like some of these police officers do. Some of these body cams starts off at $40. if motherfuckers want to get to accusing you of things, because again, we don't know what's going on. I don't want to defame anybody's character. You know what I'm saying? As far as we're concerned, because we don't know what actually happened. We wasn't there, so I'm gonna speak on what's popping. What's Marcus Johnson, but nevertheless,
what's going on, Marcus?
Nevertheless, if you feel like you're in a position where it's too many people, you're too crowded, record shit. Just start recording shit. You know what I'm saying? And if motherfuckers want to come accusing you of something, now you got evidence to sue them for defamation of character. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if you get kicked off the football team, the state of Nebraska, the University of Nebraska got to pay you at that point because now they ruined your reputation. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, if you're an involved party, that's because basically that's what one party or no party consent is. One party consent is basically if I'm involved in a certain conversation or involved in a certain interaction, that's basically you are the consenting party unless you're in the state of California where all parties got to consent to that situation. You know what I'm saying? True. And if you live in California, be like, hey, I'm going to record everything so nothing goes down. You know, you won't accuse me of anything. I won't accuse you of anything. Do you consent? Basically, get them to consent if you're in California. But in Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, you know, Florida has all-party consent law. So be careful out there in Florida as well. You know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, with Nebraska, you know what I'm saying? So with Nebraska, you know, Nebraska need to get their shit together. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of that. But nevertheless, going back to Florida State.
Yeah.
You damn unrealistic fans. Get this dude some time. Give him his 4-year contract and support this guy. He's a good coach. He just needs
to shut the fuck up.
Exactly. And he needs another downside. I'll say another downside about Norvell. He needs some defense. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Nah. They better keep Odell Haig. Now, I'm gonna interject on something here in a minute. I agree with you. Norvell, damn good coach. Damn good offensive mind. Look at the numbers all the years he's been in Memphis. Now, as far as the personnel that he's got at Florida State, he should not have no fucking problem putting that ball in the air. But it sucks that Cam Akers is not going to be there because Cam Akers had 2 shit seasons under Willie Taggart, whereas this man had over 1,200 yards in Jimbo's final year. Mm-hmm. That's the only downside. The defensive coordinator that he had got, I think dude did pretty good. The problem with Memphis, with most of, you know, because the problem with Memphis, as far as defense goes, their secondary had fucking mental lapses. It looks good on paper, but you know, and I'm gonna tell you something. The knock on Norvell the previous season, before this season, which he did address, he did get some defense. True enough, and I think that right now nationally the defense is like in the top 5 against the pass. So you can't hate on that. But like I said, the secondary, they always have mental lapses. Well, now he's gonna at times. Now if he keeps Odell Higgins, they'll be straight. But as far as offensive coordinator goes, I think he's gonna call the plays himself because we all know Kendall Brown's gonna get on down to Ole Miss, who we gonna talk about in a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna.
But that's all. Yeah, because that's always been really Norvell's knock with us has been his stick to fucking script play calling. Because he made us mad. He made us mad a couple of fucking times. You know, like how you gonna go up 56-3? How you gonna go up 56-7 in the third quarter? And all of a sudden win 56-30, 56-48, the final. What the fuck you were doing? 2 years ago, he made me mad. He made me mad with that one game, bro. I'm like, man. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Because and as the adage is, if when you up by that many and you let the opposing team come back to either beat you or make the score close, as it is, you deserve to get your ass beat. So if he keeps Odell Higgins, and I hope he does, he gonna be straight in that defense department. Offense, he's gonna have to make, and really, when you seeing problems with defense, I don't know if you still see him with this year's team. I don't. As far as Memphis go, with Florida State, their offensive line is just about it. It's just like a Krispy Kreme donut, just like that. Just slurp it in your mouth. They need an offensive line bad.
Yeah, they haven't had an offensive line in I should say ages. They haven't had an offensive line probably since
Bobby Bowden was there.
I'll say the Jameis Winston years. They haven't had an offense. They haven't had an offense since then. You know what I'm saying? So
offensive line.
Yeah, they had a pretty good offensive line under Winston. You know what I'm saying? But Winston helped them out because he was mobile and was able to get rid of the ball. But for the most part, their offensive line ever since then have sucked ass for the most part. So yeah, they So I'm looking at the college stats on NCAA stats. Their passing defense was ranked number 26 in the country, top 30 defense, pretty good. Gave up less than 200 yards passing, up there with teams like not too far from Oklahoma's passing defense, Tennessee's and stuff like that. Alabama up there. They're up there with those particular guys. But, that could be deceptive because if you sack the quarterback a lot, that takes away from passing yards too. You don't have to have necessarily a good secondary to give up few defensive yards. If you're able to get to the quarterback on a consistent basis, because passing yards doesn't mean you have a good secondary. If I'm talking about in terms of passing yards allowed. It doesn't mean you have a good secondary. Sometimes you got a good defensive line. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, your defensive line or your front seven forces the turnovers, you know what I'm saying, by getting pressure on the quarterback. So it's one of those things with that particular thing. But if they're able to bring that type of Florida State type defense, if they're able to bring that to Florida State with that type of defense in terms of passing yards, because I haven't seen much of the rushing defense, but I have seen a lot of the games where they gave up a whole bunch of points, and that's not good, especially in the ACC,
right?
Where teams, if you give up the same points, let's say you give up the same points that you gave up against SMU against a Clemson, you're gonna have a problem. Same thing if you give up those type of points to Duke or North Carolina, because the ACC, like I was saying, and I've said this before, even though Clemson has been dominating, it's the baby SEC. That's all the ACC is, because everybody in the ACC recruits SEC type of players. You know what I'm saying? The ACC is the closest thing to the SEC of all teams. Why you think Miami hasn't been able to do shit since they got in the ACC? That was the biggest fuck up that Miami made, was break up the Big East, because they were dominating the Big East. Hell, Boston College, ever since the ACC, Boston College, Virginia Tech been in the ACC. Virginia Tech and Boston College and Syracuse have done way better than fucking Miami. Miami can't do shit right now.
No, they need to stay independent.
They should. Well, that's not.
They should have stayed independent. And Jimmy, probably as a possible, I have to find it. Probably as a possible future podcast, we're gonna do a watch along of Memphis's last meeting against Alabama back in 1991.
Have you found it on YouTube?
I couldn't find. Only thing I found were highlights. I can't go based on highlights, but normally most time they had a full game.
Yeah, because I know they've been having. You have to really look on YouTube, because every once in a while you get somebody from. I know Tiger Jeb used to have a whole bunch of old Memphis football games. Tiger Jeb on YouTube.
But somebody had uploaded a fucking Ole Miss and Notre Dame game.
Mm-hmm.
And Ole Miss whooped their ass. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, Ole Miss back in the day used to have some great teams. It's just the problem have been for Ole Miss is LSU and Alabama. Auburn is hit or miss. Is a hit or miss series. Arkansas is a relatively new series for them, for Ole Miss. So I really don't look at them two things. But other than those three core teams that they those two teams that typically they play, Ole Miss have been historically speaking, in terms of football, they've been pretty good, especially in the bowl games. When they play in bowl games, they have a pretty good record. because I know for a long time they had like a 10 bowl winning streak against teams and shit like that. They wasn't losing at all. And then, after West Virginia kicked their ass that year, then, it's been iffy ever since. But for the most part, Ole Miss have some good football history, nevertheless. And of course, they won a national title in the '60s at Ole Miss and stuff like that. So, Ole Miss have to be having some pretty good football teams, nevertheless.
Okay. But and then also in Florida, what Florida State's been getting with Norvell, and we're gonna be done with this one. They're getting a damn good offensive mind.
That's true.
And Florida State fans gonna have to fucking get with the damn times, because y'all are worse than some of our baby boomer parents, man, still stuck in the baby boomer age of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Offenses has evolved, and I mean what Willie Taggart tried to do with Florida State, he could do it, but then again he couldn't. But what Norvell brings in, it's a fast pace. It's RPO. He don't run a lot of I formations and everything. What I noticed, he runs a lot of pistol, split back formations, and shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Because he almost fucked it up again. He almost fucked up today against Cincinnati, man, when he called that damn timeout.
Mm-hmm.
After that fourth down. I'm like, why would you do that shit? And I'm like, and another negative that Norvell does have, he'll have you looking at the TV like, did he just do that? I know he just didn't do that, or what the fuck is he doing?
I agree.
Norvell had some, man, and what was it, the season before this one? Oh, I remember Jimmy went ham on that shit. Norvell had some very strange what the fuck moments that really wanted Memphis fans was calling for Memphis fans undercover on the low was calling for Norvell's head. Especially like losing somebody like Tulane,
Yeah. Tulane.
Yeah, that, and but like I said, he makes some questionable decisions. Sometimes that negative can be a positive because he is a risk taker. Because that dude had in his first year, the man he was 50%, 60% on fourth down conversion on his fourth down call. He never went for a field goal. He takes a gamble, but in the ACC, you can't afford to take no gambles like that. I mean, Dabo will do it sometime, but not all the time. But Florida State, they getting a good coach. And like my boy Jimmy said, that when he took the wheel on it, now he's parking the car on this.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State fans, shut the fuck up and give him a chance. Don't come talking about, we're going to BCS Bowl first year. No. It takes time to develop that personnel. Because he's got a lot, and I'm going to be honest with Norvell, he's got a lot of work ahead of him.
Hell yeah.
A lot of work. So, all right, Jimmy, your guy, Lane Kiffin, stuck to his word as he's about to make his return to the SEC as Ole Miss's new head coach. He even said in the interview that he wouldn't rule out. He said he's not ruling out a return to the SEC. He is evolved from being that little young jackass to actually being a grown-ass man, as he will coach his last game at Florida Atlantic in their bowl game, and they beat the shit out of UAB today, 46-7 in the championship, in the Conference USA championship game.
Or as my boy Corey Wolf called him, UAP.
Yeah. So Jimmy, you think Lane Kiffin will do pretty good with Ole Miss? And also, wait a minute, and also remind Ole Miss fans what kind of coach remind Ole Miss fans what type of coach that they'll get this. Remind Ole Miss fans of what type of coach that they will be getting.
Well, they're going to be getting another great offensive mind. He was a good offensive mind when he was at the University of Southern California, and he was a pretty good offensive mind at the Raiders as an offensive assistant. So he's been a trial and error type coach for the most part. So, but nevertheless, they're going to be getting a pretty good offensive minded, and it was a good thing that he went back to Conference USA to coach again, because sometimes you got to go to the small boys to get ready for the big boys. So I think he's going to make some bowl games or make some postseason play. Now, will y'all be getting a coach that could possibly beat Alabama? Who knows? I think he may mess around and beat Alabama a couple of times if he stays there long enough. But I don't know when. He's going to have to recruit as good as Hugh Freeze. He's definitely going to have to recruit that good, because Hugh Freeze had top 10 recruiting classes that was able to compete with them. And, for my homeboy Trey Wilkins, who played for the Jordan Wilkins, that plays for the Indianapolis Colts. So if he can get Ole Miss in the top 20, top 10, like Hugh Freeze was in Rivals.com, and get good enough talent, I don't know if he can win a SEC West title, because the SEC West, even if he beats Alabama, LSU still is that rival. But if he can, what Lane Kiffin need to do, and what Ole Miss fans need to do, same thing with Norvell, the same thing that Florida State fans need to do: patience. Stay patient. Don't be so quick to, like, get rid of a guy. Stay patient, because I think Kiffin learned his lesson from taking too many big jobs. I think he learned his lesson. Tennessee, had he stayed at Tennessee, I think he would have did pretty good. I think he would probably be in a position to have Tennessee as an SEC contender had he stayed there. But he tried to go for the big show, going back to USC, and that didn't work out for him the second time around. Because at first he was the offensive coordinator, but he went back for the head coaching job, and he fucked up. He should have stayed where he was. Tennessee, him being at Tennessee, he didn't have a lot of pressure on him at that particular time. You know what I'm saying? And then he did good enough to get respect from the Tennessee fans, and Tennessee fans felt pissed off when he left them. But Ole Miss is a step down from Tennessee. But with Lane Kiffin learning his lesson, going back to Alabama, getting another ring as an assistant. I think this time around, I think Lane Kiffin learned his lesson, and not be lame Kiffin, because I said that about for 2 times before. But he's not lame Kiffin no more. He's Lane Kiffin. So, and because he stays in his lane. So I say this year coming up, I say Ole Miss will probably be a 7. If he does what he need to do, they can be a 7-5, 8-14. If he does what he need to do.
I agree with that. And then also let's not forget, on Twitter, he trolls the shit out of everybody. Hell, he even took up for Nick Saban on a lot of things. He said, "Say what you want." Nick Saban has taught me a lot more about not only just coaching, but being a better person than anybody has. So now what?
Yeah, and
he would troll the shit out of somebody if you talk back. Put it like this: he would, like with the Jalen Hurts thing. When Jalen Hurts was a freshman, okay. He even told everybody, "Look, y'all need to give Jalen Hurts a chance." He's a freshman. And I'll admit, Jalen Hurts was the Mike Norvell of quarterbacks. He did a lot of, but now when you look at him, who we'll talk about in a minute, Oklahoma, he has amazed me. So, but one thing I can give to the Kiff, when he's a coach, he's gonna get he's gonna have some damn good defenses, man. His defense at Florida Atlantic was pretty solid. And when he had his dad being a defensive coordinator at Tennessee, man, them motherfuckers was hidden. They weren't allowing they weren't giving up. They were giving up less points and less yards, but that record should have been better as indicated.
I agree.
But I agree, Jimmy. I agree with Jimmy on this. Ole Miss fans, you're going to have to give Lane Kiffin patience. He's gonna get a offensive mind. He can recruit his ass off, and like I said, he control. He took up for because Nick Saban was even shocked when Lane Kiffin took up for him on Twitter. He was like, "Whoa, Lane said that." He was, yeah, they said something about Nick Saban's an overrated coach and shit like that, and Lane Kiffin said something about. I think the guy, I said, ones are saying he's overrated. I think Nick Saban has more championships than most of y'all. And he said, I won my first with him as an assistant. So, and plus I'm learning my craft as far as coaching. And Lane's a Capricorn too.
Oh, actually, Lane won the championship under Carroll at USC because he was the wide receivers coach, and he became the offensive coordinator after Norm Chow left. One of those championships was vacated, and one of those championships is still in existence. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
the AP National Championship. They still kept that particular. They still have that on their resume, but the one they won in the BCS, they took that over. But he has 2 championships as an assistant. And he only had 1 losing season as a coach, and that was last year with Florida Atlantic. But again, Nick Saban has taught him a lot as an assistant. You know what I'm saying? And then that's the reason why he's going to be a pretty good coach now, because he's not jumping. He's not jumping to get the big job now. Now, because when he became the head coach of the Raiders, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't ready for that. You know what I'm saying? He was barely an offensive coordinator when they gave him. Well, he was an offensive coordinator at the USC, but he went from a college offensive coordinator to an NFL head coach, and that was too soon for him. That was too soon for him. So now,
and he admitted that. Like I was saying, in Lane and Capricorn's gonna take some big ass risks and not give no fucks.
Mm-hmm.
But he's learning his lesson now. So he learned his lesson after he got his ass fired from USC.
Yeah.
So unlike some coaches, I mean, Lane as a man admitted that shit. Yeah, I learned my lesson. He said, because that Tennessee, he said, I thought I was. He said, and in so many ways and in many words. He was smelling his shit. He was smelling his own shit a little bit too deep. You couldn't tell this man. You couldn't tell him nothing.
Yeah, he was smelling his piss too much at Tennessee, and he turned his dumb ass nose up at Tennessee. Like Tennessee, believe me trust me when I say this. They were going to give him all the time in the world. They wouldn't have rushed him out as fast as USC did. University of Spoiled Children. Yes, that's what I'm calling you, hoes. University of Spoiled Children. When he went to USC, this dude never had a losing record at fucking USC. The first 2 seasons he got there, he was ineligible for a bowl game because of what happened with the Reggie Bush situation. They were ineligible 2 years in a row. Then when he finally was eligible for a bowl game, you know what I'm saying? Now the fan base is turning their nose up. Well, Lane Kiffin, we want Lane Kiffin up out of there. They had their noses turning up at him then. So Lane should have kept the Tennessee job. But again, he's learning his lesson, and that's a great thing. Him being at Ole Miss, in some cases, what we call them old piss, because they be pissing every time they see Alabama. You know what I'm saying? And they be pissing on themselves like bitches when they play Alabama and LSU. That's why I call them old piss. It's old, and that's an old term anyway. So, that was a term way before I got here based on my research. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? As long as he don't get to smelling his old piss, he'll be all right at Ole Miss. And I think Ole Miss should give him all the time in the world, as long as he's winning year in and year out, showing that he could be able to compete with at least LSU. Don't worry about Alabama. Alabama's going to get top 5, top 3 recruiting classes year in and year out. And that's something Nick Saban has built. Nick Saban goes to people's houses and talk to their parents, have dinner with kids' parents. So when you know, even if your kid don't go to the NFL, you can always say with Nick Saban, at least my kid graduated. Even with Jalen Hurts, I can't call him Jalen Butt Hurts. With Jalen Hurts was graduated in the summertime of last year. You know what I'm saying? So he at Oklahoma's going for his master's. He's at Oklahoma's going for his master's. So by the time, if he makes it in the NFL, he'll have a master's by the time he gets to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Because Nick Saban's objective, if I don't get you in the NFL, I'll at least graduate you. You should always he makes all those kids take summer classes. So you'll be graduated in 3 years. If nothing else, you'll be graduated in 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. That's the great thing about Nick Saban. His kids get their degrees. That's the thing about Nick Saban. It ain't just all about football. And then he makes those kids sit in the front of the fucking class as well. So it ain't 100% football. Same shit Pat Summitt did. You know, Pat Summitt, if you played for Pat Summitt, you had to sit in the front of the class. You couldn't be the class clown. You had to sit in the front of the class. And he took a lot of that from Pat Summitt. He was like, hey, if you play for Alabama, you're going to represent me. You're not going to get into no off-field troubles and shit like that. You're going to sit in the front of the class. And if my professor tell me y'all acting up, we're going to sit your bitch ass down. That's the thing. That's one of the great things that Nick Saban does. You know, all coaching aside, from coaching aside, because I can say a lot about his coaching, you know what I'm saying, good or bad, but he makes sure those kids get a degree. He made sure before Jalen Hurts went to Oklahoma, he got a degree. And when he transferred, he was eligible immediately. That's the great thing about it. And I'm glad the NCAA changed their rule to where if you graduate, you're eligible. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad they were able to make that eligibility thing pop off and drop off.
Right. I'm on my little website here, Newtopia Sports. A guy by the name of Brick said, I think maybe Norvell works out, but he inherited a great situation, has been merely good. I think Lane Kiffin at a place like Ole Miss is a great fit for him. I don't think he fits at a top school job. Looking forward to them fucking up one of the major SEC programs every year. Said, but they'll probably go 75-84 a lot and be a lot of fun to watch. Damn right. But about the record, though, I'll do one better. I think Lane, I'm going to put it like this. If he get Kendall Browse back as his offensive coordinator, I think Lane's first year, they're going to win 9 games.
Mm-hmm. And I'll give Lane Kiffin a word of advice. Until you get the recruiting class you need to get, don't play Memphis. That's a tricky ass game, because if you beat Memphis, you're supposed to win. If you lose to Memphis, you lost to an American Conference team. So stay away from Memphis at least for the next 2-3 years.
Well, that's not gonna happen because I think they play them next year.
Oh my goodness!
I think.
But they can change it in the offseason, from my understanding, unless it's a signed contract. But I say, man, stay away from Memphis, goddamn it. That's why I say wait till y'all get good. Then right. you know, because Memphis will be ranked regardless of what happens in the Cotton Bowl. They'll be ranked by the time early season. So yeah, that'll be a good win for them if they able to beat Memphis. But that's a tricky. If I'm them, I would take Memphis off the fucking schedule until I'm ready, till I get those guys at least in the top 5. You know, because Memphis ain't going. I don't think Memphis will ever get a top 5 recruiting class in football. They'll probably at best.
It depends on what the coach they get. Because Corey, shout out to Corey Wolf. Mm-hmm. Corey Wolf wants Barry Odom back in Memphis.
Well, Missouri.
I'll fall for that, but as long as you don't have fucking Derek Dooley as your offensive coordinator, you straight.
Well, with Odom, the best thing he gonna do, because Missouri is easy to recruit as an SEC team, but Missouri mostly recruits in Texas. They get a lot of Texas kids, Central Texas kids and shit like that. So that's a little different. I'm talking about high quality Texas kids. They don't get no putty patrol with Texas kids like Houston does. You know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, it's gonna take a lot of work for them to be in the top 20, much less in the top 5. So I don't think they'll ever make it to that. They'll make it to top 20 at least. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what they do, if they can consistently win conference titles, they'll make top 20 easily, top 30 recruiting classes. But it's going to be very hard to get in on SEC level because you got like 5 teams in the top 10 in the SEC. You know, A&M is a top 10 recruiting have top 10 recruiting classes. But shit, they recruit everybody out of Houston to East Texas. So nevertheless, with Lane Kiffin, as long as he can recruit, long as he can keep that offensive energy that he got from Florida Atlantic, he's on like a pot of neck bones. He just got to keep the fans excited to see offensive football and get him a good defensive coordinator. If he can get him a good defensive coordinator to help run, Ole Miss could be a team that nobody in the SEC wants to play, even Mississippi or my boys would say Mistake, not Mississippi State, but Mistake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we definitely agree on that. So we wishing out, we wish them guys the best, man, because next college football season is gonna be interesting. Mainly we're gonna wish Mike Norvell the best. I mean, because good coach. He gave us some little piss off moments. Like I said, he gave us some little throw the chair to we be armchair quarterbacking, but he also gave us some throw the chair to TV moments with some shit that he would do. But I think like old boy on my little website I get on, we talk about the football and the football video games and stuff. Mike Norvell is in a great situation. And bottom line is Mike Norvell will be in a great situation and he's gonna do just fine. As long as Florida State fans can break out them little baby boom ways and realize football has fucking changed. Ain't no more run-based offenses anymore. Well, with the exception of Cincinnati, because they're more of a zone read run team. Passing game is nothing to speak of. But I'm gonna put it like this. I predict Norvell in his first year is gonna go 9-3. I'll do one. I would say 8-4. I wouldn't be surprised if he go 9-3 in his first year. If he manages that, well, here's the thing. If he manages to beat Clemson, if he can get past Clemson, the new dawn of the ACC, the Alabama of the ACC, if he beat Clemson in his first year, he doing good in my book. But if they play Clemson pretty close and whatever, and light up the scoreboard, play the good defense like they supposed to, he'll win our respect over. And I'll put it like this: I wouldn't be surprised somebody at some other school hit that man up for another job.
But since he got the Florida State job, don't go nowhere. I say because I said Mike Norvell need to have plenty of seats, and he had his seat. I would love for him to stay a couple of more years, but now that he rejected the Arkansas job and a couple of other jobs, this Florida State move, he got it while it was hot, but the thing Florida, he gonna need to do at Florida State, beat your division opponents, beat guys like Boston College, beat guys like Louisville, beat guys like NC State, beat
Fuente.
Beat Syracuse.
Dude, you replaced
and beat Wake Forest. Because you're gonna play Miami every year. You're probably gonna play Virginia Tech or one of the Virginia schools every year. Because sometimes it rotates year in and year out. So if you can
Notre Dame's,
Notre Dame's, get them holes up out of there. So if you can, beat the teams you need to beat. Because everybody in that Coastal Division, even though it's the ACC is having somewhat of a down year, if you don't get on your A game, you're gonna lose to one of those teams. It ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Every once in a while, NC State might tap you on the shoulder and be like, "Look, bitch, you finna get up out of here." So, nevertheless, beat your Coastal Division teams. Clemson, you might be asking for a little bit too much to beat those. Beat Clemson. But if you can beat the guys in the Coastal Division, the Atlantic Division, that's a start. Beat who you need to beat first, and then worry about Clemson. Then worry about Miami. Miami's a rivalry game, so that could go either way. But beat those motherfuckers too. If he can consistently post up 8-4, 9-3, I expect him. He could have like a 1-loss, 2-loss team, and I think Florida State fans will do good. But I'm not mad he left at all because he did.
No, me either.
He did what he needed to do. He was 37-15 at the University of Memphis. He did what he needed to do as a head coach, or I should say 38-15. He did what he needed to do as a head coach. He waited for the job. He could have easily went to Arkansas and got the big job, but he did. He waited. He was like, hey, let me build my resume up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he did. You know what I'm saying? Same shit Bronco Mendenhall did. Look at Bronco Mendenhall. He's at VA. People kept on offering him jobs. No, I'm staying at BYU. And he waited right good till the job he wanted was there. Bronco Mendenhall made a great decision by staying there at BYU as long as he did. Same thing Chris Peterson did. Chris Peterson, who will be in the administrative department in the athletic department at Washington State, University of Washington, from what I understand. Chris Peterson waited his turn. He kept on building Boise State, kept on building them. And then when Washington called, he was able to handle that job. Now he gave him a couple of conference championships. Didn't take him to the national championship like the late Don James did, but at least he was able to handle the job. And he walked out on his own terms. He didn't get runner. He walked out on his own terms because he got a better job in an administrative position. So he was like, shit, I'm going to take an administrative position. Because when he left, he was like, hey, I'm going to always be a University of Washington Husky. You know what I'm saying? So, I think Chris Peterson, if the administrative position don't pan out, he can always get back into coaching. Maybe not at the University of Washington, but maybe somewhere else. I could see him coming back to coaching, but I think he wants that big money as an administrator. So, shout out to
and really, man, you never hear nothing bad said about Chris Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. The dude wins, and he said he really. Because really, being as part of administrative was his calling. Because he said becoming part of coaching was happenstance. Mm-hmm. He really didn't want to do it, but then he got the enjoyment for it and all this other stuff and the recruitings and the players. Because he said at the end, he said, true enough, he said, I don't want my happiness based on, something about the kids and happiness and stuff like that. I got respect. You got to have a whole lot of respect for that, man. That's why I say Chris Peterson is the Mark Few of college football. You only never hear no bad shit said about Mark Few while at Gonzaga or anything. You never hear nothing said about Chris Peterson when he was at Boise State or he was at Washington, anything. He produced winners. Now, granted, I think he had better talent, better talent and better personnel at Boise than he did at Washington, because Washington was a work in progress.
Yeah, so not just that, he at Boise, he got a lot of JUCO transfers at Boise. So you know what I'm saying. So he had, I can see your point there. And then him being at Washington, he had a lot of California and Texas leftovers. So sometimes leftovers could be good if you're a certain team, and leftovers could be bad. And in this case, the leftovers was hit or miss, you know what I'm saying, at Washington. But nevertheless, he did a hell of a job at Washington. And he
told the new coach, man, he said, don't change shit, keep everything like it is.
I agree. I totally agree.
Don't you change nothing, keep everything like it is. And the head coach is a black guy. He was the defensive coordinator. Jimmy Lake.
Jimmy Lake. So I think he's going. We'll see what's going to happen, because Washington is a whole nother ball game. University of Washington, because University of Washington has expectations, just like everybody else have expectations. But nevertheless, Chris Peterson, he built his resume up at Boise State. He stayed at Boise State for 8 years. People trying to give this man head coaching jobs.
Right.
And then he built Boise State to where they're at currently now. And now, and then he went to Washington, and now he's an administrator now. So nevertheless, he's probably going to mess around and be the athletic director pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? We never know. So, because we know he's going to be, he's going to be in the athletic department, administrator in the athletic department. So he's good. And then, they're still going to pay him, what's left on the contract because he got a $4.7 million contract. So they're going to still pay him because, he's still a part of the department. They didn't, so he doing good. So nevertheless, I'm glad Mike Norvell got the job he wanted, got a bigger and better job. He didn't settle for Arkansas, which he could have. He could have took the money, ran, and been like, got fired like the other coaches. But no, he said, shit. If I'm going to coach, go ahead.
And one thing about Chris Peterson, man, he cares about his players. Like, for example, what's the dude name that got hurt? He got drafted by Philadelphia, Sidney Jones, the cornerback. He was there at the pro day. And if you look, and I'm gonna find the clip for you so you can take a look at it. Sidney Jones, he did a back step, then he cut, then the back step, then you hear something go pop. He popped his Achilles tendon. Chris, everybody, I think all the coaches and everybody stand on the sideline, folding their arms, looking. Take a wild guess who's the only one. Take a wild guess who's the only coach that walked up on the field to check up on the player.
Chris
even helped. Even Sidney stood up on it. He whispered to him. He said, "Your Achilles is popped, didn't he?" He said, "Yep." He said, "Come on," and Chris helped him over. Chris in the training helped him over. I'm like, now why the fuck Chris Pete? I said, I know Chris had to choose some motherfuckers out off camera about that shit.
Yeah, because
it's pro day, but you still, still could have walked over and helped and found out what was going on with the players. So he walked him over because Chris stood by him. Chris stood by him and he told me. And I guess Chris told him, said, "Just lean on me till the trainer get here." Because he was fucked up. Chris helped him halfway, and they got him the way he was. Damn. But the dude, he's still playing for Philly now, and he been cutting up as of late. So,
and got a Super Bowl.
He got a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they literally, and the crazy thing about it is Chris Peterson grew up in the same neighborhood is this kid, because he's from West Covina, California. So is Sidney Jones. So they have
Sidney Jones.
Yeah, so they have a common place with one another. So nevertheless, I'm glad Chris Peterson is doing well for himself at Washington. Yeah. He left on his own terms. He left on his own terms at Boise. So he deserves anything that he gets, he deserves it. Real talk. And same thing for Sidney Jones. Sidney Jones is doing the damn thing at the Eagles. They playing like a whole bunch of weasels, but still they could mess around and beat the Cowboys and win the division for all we know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. With trash Prescott or trash press flop. You know what I'm saying? Because he played like shit. He didn't stop eating himself to death. That's the problem with fat Prescott. That's what the fuck is press flop. Fat ass.
Who said Fat Prescott?
Yeah, Fat Prescott. I got so many names for that trash ass. Oh, we don't deserve to. They don't belong here in the NFL. You old little. We know what you're talking about. We see the eyes is bucking in the Sammy Davis Jr. tap shoes you have, and now look at you right now. Look at you. You about to get your coach fired because your ass is so fucking fat. Your ass is so fat. Your ass is fat. You got all them good ass wide receivers and can't throw to any one of them, you fat motherfucker. You fat, big head, box head. I can't get out the backfield. I can't escape. I can't evade the rush because I'm so fat ass motherfucker. Good for you, trash Prescott. And Jerry Jones gonna give you a wake-up call. Jerry Jones gonna give you a wake-up call. Right now you his boy, but Jerry Jones gonna holler at you. You know what I'm saying? And I had a Facebook meme if you follow my Facebook page, you know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is with Fat Prescott. But shout out to Chris Peterson. Shout out to Sidney Jones as well.
Right. And another thing, speaking of Achilles, saw the other night when the Blazers lost to the Lakers, man. Rodney Hood's out for the year. He tore his Achilles in the game going up for a rebound, and he tore it. But unknown to everybody, the previous night he sprained that shit. The same one he tore, he sprained it. So, man, I think right now, man, that, shit, you can be able to take care of your body as much as possible or whatever. You can do a lot of activity or less activity. Achilles injuries are becoming becoming the new ACLs now.
Mm-hmm. What
And
the
man,
hell is going on? What the hell is going on with Ohio State? They get their ass handed to them right now. 14 shit. They better
Paul
wake
Chris
up.
with 2 words. Paul Chris, he studies film. Did you see how the fuck you see what the hell he did to Minnesota last Saturday?
Well, it's a rivalry game.
That's it.
So
Yeah, it's a rivalry game, but anytime a coach like Paul Chris can whoop Mark Rick and Miami's ass twice in 2 back-to-back bowl games.
Yeah.
And then mock them by wearing his own turnover chain. What that tell you?
Oh yeah.
Paul Chris studies film, man. Shit, that's the best coach Wisconsin got.
Yeah.
And and check this out. In Russell Wilson's last year at Wisconsin, Paul Chris was his offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Bert Belima was the head coach.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So, man, what did you think about the report that I sent to you about damn, excuse me, y'all. I apologize for that. What did you think about the report I sent to y'all about Bob Stoops?
Enlighten me. I think I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen that. Enlighten me on that.
He had a high demand. When I got this guy we got this post from Bruin, so it said so Southern Cal had Bob Stoops pretty much locked up until the last minute where they wouldn't meet his demands for money for assistance, and said he wanted complete control, and Southern Cal said no.
Ah. I gotta get to the Chucky laugh.
Yeah, and I had expressed my I told you who Southern Cal.
Yes, they some dumbasses. How you not give big game Bob Stoops what he want? The fuck?
Well,
the fuck? He's proven. He's proven. He's a proven coach. There's no excuses for that. You want the big coach. You want the coach who's established. You want the coach that could bring your team back to the promised land. How the fuck you not give big game fucking Bob Stoops what the fuck he wants? If he was going to come out of retirement, that's the only way he was going to come out of retirement. What the hell wrong with Southern Cal? University of Spoiled Children. Fuck Southern Cal. They the University of Spoiled goddamn children. What the fuck wrong with them? How they going to explain it?
Okay, but yeah, I put it on the now this is in the sports chat group. So this is what I hit you all up yesterday. I said, so Southern Cal had Bob Stoops pretty much locked up until the last minute when they would meet his demands for money for assistance. And Stoops wanted complete control, and Southern Cal said no. Now we understand why they went back. And then I said, now we understand why they went back to help. So Corey Wolf said this. Shout out to him, by the way. He said, so it was Stoops and not Meyer that they were hot for. They were trying to make a splash. I think Helton is a good coach. He has some injuries this year, and the program is just coming out of recovery from all that scandalous shit they have done. And I said this. Well, Stoops is known. Now you take it up for Stoops, Jimmy, but this is what I said. I said, well, Stoops is known to make some fucked up demands, and he tries to block other coaches' opportunities. For example, he tried to keep Brent Venables from taking the Clemson defensive coordinator job. He refused to fire his brother, who was a shitty defensive coordinator, until Lincoln Riley did it. He also has to say how offense needs to run. He also condoned his former linebacker, Aaron Stryker, for spitting on a fan when they came back to beat the Vols. Mm-hmm. Also, in regards to Lincoln Riley, he tried to handicap his offense, but we all see how he turned out. 2 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks who turned out to be 2 shitty quarterbacks in the NFL.
But again, I disagree with you in terms of the shitty quarterbacks in NFL.
Yeah, and Corey had to correct me on that one too. But here's the thing. Now, the Cardinals play Pittsburgh tomorrow. Pittsburgh Steelers play Arizona Cardinals tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Kyler Murray has been sacked 41 times this year.
Well, this is his first year in the NFL.
Okay. The Pittsburgh Steelers lead the NFL in total sacks at 43.
Yeah, okay.
So they're going to have a fucking field day with him. Baker Mayfield, he just need to get his head out his fucking ass and start being a leader.
Yeah, with Kyler, he's a short dude anyway. So, if he doesn't get any kind of protection, the key to his offensive line needs to be offensive tackle. They need to get some offensive tackles to protect him, because that's one of the reasons why he's getting sacked a lot, is he doesn't have enough time, and that plays a major factor. But when he's able to escape the pocket, look out, he's a motherfucker with himself. But again, I feel like he needs to. Well, he was drafted in the first round of baseball, so I'm thinking he's going to play both sports. Who knows? But I think he should have just stuck with baseball personally, because you getting injured in football. Where in baseball, injuries are very minimal. Not that you can't get hurt, because we saw it with the Astros year before last, but he wouldn't be at risk for injury as bad as he would in football, because in football injuries that could fuck up your whole athletic career. So nevertheless, 41 sacks, anybody can get. That's a terrible offensive line. You give up 41 sacks, that's a terrible offense. You're a terrible offensive line.
Okay, well, I got a better number than that. Okay, now, hypothetically, 41 sacks. You give up 41 sacks, that's a terrible offensive line.
It's definitely a terrible offensive line.
If you give up 9 sacks, that's a damn good offensive line.
Throughout the course of the season, which how many is it's already we're week what in the NFL? What week we're in the
NFL? 14.
Week 14. So that's good for after week 14. Even if you only gave
we're into week 13.
Week 13, that's still good. I say that's good if it was in week 10. So, that's good as an offensive line. But 41, that's a bad offensive line for sure. You're just letting people. You're not blocking assignments. You don't have no fucking assignments. That's what that is. And like I say, both Baker Mayfield, and I don't like Baker Mayfield, bitch ass. Let's just be clear on that. He's not a awful quarterback. He's got ways to go. He's a good quarterback when he's on. When he's on, he's on. He's in a sophomore slump, which most guys go into a sophomore slump. Every quarterback goes into a sophomore slump or third year slump, whatever. They go in some type of they have a bad year, so that could be given. They're not shitty quarterbacks. I have to disagree with that. But even with that being said about what Bob Stoops condoned, that has nothing to do with how he's proven himself as an established head coach. That has nothing to do with anything. Yes, that was some fuck shit to condone. He should not have condoned that. But nevertheless, if he wanted control over what's going on, he had every right to, because he's already an established guy. He established himself as the defensive coordinator at Florida. He established himself at Oklahoma. Yes, he lost some games against Boise State here and there. That's either here or there. But he had every right. He's already proven. If you're a proven guy, yes, you're a proven guy. Yes, he tried to stop Brett Venables from going to Clemson. But who wouldn't stop Brett Venables from trying to go to Clemson? That was the best thing he had. He won a national title with fucking Brett Venables. And Brett Venables had no intention on being a head coach. The only way I think Brett Venables become a head coach is Dabo Swinney leaves, which I don't ever see him leaving Clemson. You know what I'm saying? But Brent Venables is the guy who won his only national title. So I could see that. I could see him not wanting that dude to go. You know, he had in the line right back in court, he had Torrance Marshall and Rocky Kalmus and those guys. And, you know, that defense, you know, in comparison to the Clemson teams he had, you know,
right.
You know, talent-wise, they weren't as good. They were nowhere near as good as the Clemson defenses that he had. He's, you know, it's night and day. But the two main guys I remember on that defense was Rocky Kalmus and Torrance Marshall. You know what I'm saying? That's who I remember like yesterday. So I can see him not wanting to let Brent Venables go. But I'm not going to say he shouldn't get what he wants because he's a proven guy. He's a proven guy. USC should have just gave it to him. You know what I'm saying? See how that worked out. If it didn't work out, they have the option to fire them. University of Spoiled Children have one of the best acting schools in the country. You know what I'm saying? Bar none. So all those movie stars that come and go from the University of Spoiled Children, they could have easily gotten rid of him if he shits the bed. So I felt like they still should have gave him what he wanted, regardless of your points.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, man. So far, let people know this is our highs and lows so far. Now, probably tomorrow we'll do a let's draw on something extra to talk about all the bowl matchups. But for the year, in the first let's draw on something of 2020, Jimmy J and I, we definitely gonna break down who are our disappointments in college football and our surprises and all the other stuff after the BCS championship game, which we'll give our take on that. So, Jimmy, surprising team. Who is your surprising team this year so far?
In college football?
Yes.
LSU.
Agreed.
LSU.
Agreed.
No way in fucking.
Go ahead.
No way in fucking should beat Alabama. No way in hell. But they did it. They recruit the number 3 recruiting class in the country, and they possibly could win a national title this year. And if Coach O wins, he made the right decision. I think that's going to buy him at least 5-6 more years at LSU. You know, because LSU will fire you. Look at Les Miles or Pest Miles. You know what I'm saying? They fired him for winning a national title, but it took them a while to fire. Took them a while to fire him. So
Les didn't want to change the offense. That's one. One. Ed Orgeron did. He got Joe Brady, and I gotta agree with you there on that. They're more surprised because fucking Joe Burrow is leading in the nation with completion percentage as a quarterback at almost 80%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it could, and I don't know why Corey Wolf is kind of slick hyping up for Joe Brady to go. I don't think that dude going anywhere because if LSU got the bank to pay Dave around the $2.5 million, they're gonna pay Joe Brady some bank too to stay.
Let me tell you something. LSU ain't that far from the south side of Baton Rouge. And there's 2 types of south sides. There's the rich south side of Baton Rouge, and there's the nigger side of south side. You know, and you got to be careful, you know, because from the rich part, you got 3 right turns, and then you see niggas with the cement shoes, you know, for lack of a better term. So, nevertheless, they do have the money to keep those guys. LSU has a crazy fan base. They got fan base all the way in Houston. You got people that went to LSU from Houston because their recruiting base is basically the entire state of Louisiana from one side of Alabama to the other side of the Gulf Coast, which is Texas. You know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, they got the bread to keep that team. They got the bread because everybody in Baton Rouge, they spend money to go see LSU play football, and if basketball is doing well, they go see them motherfuckers. So it's money there in LSU. They have they have more than enough than an established program. And I said this, and I'm gonna say it again. Jimbo Fisher should have stayed his ugly ass at fucking LSU because had he got that job, they had problems with Pest Miles not wanting to change up everything. Yes, he would have been the coach in waiting. They could have got rid of Pest Miles and made Jimbo the head coach right then and there. They could have made him the head coach. So both of them hoes turned them, and Jimbo had another opportunity to come to LSU. He turned his nose up at that motherfucker. And what's the other dude I said turned their nose up at that motherfucker on Tuesday? I forgot the other motherfucker that said that turned their nose up at Tom Herman. He turned his nose up at LSU.
Fuck Tom, man. Can I say something? Fuck Tom Herman. Go on.
But nevertheless, had he came to LSU, he would have been at a gold mine. LSU,
but he wouldn't have beat Alabama though.
That's either here or there, bro. That's a rivalry game. You never know what happens in rivalry games. It's just like the Miami Dolphins versus the New England Patriots. Every time Patriots go to Miami, you never know what's going to happen in Miami or Slime-Miami, for lack of a better term. But nevertheless, he would have been in a better position than what he is. Coach O took the job. I don't like Coach O, bitch ass. Let's be clear. I don't like that motherfucker. But one thing I can say intelligent decision he made that's more than great decision he made. The best decision he made was to take the LSU job, became the interim head coach, and then ultimately became the head coach. And now everybody is saying, go Coach O with the G-E-U-X. Go Coach O. So, you know what I'm saying? He made the right decision on that. When other motherfuckers like Jimbo Fisher or Bimbo Fisher turned their noses up at that motherfucker. LSU is a perfect place to be because you don't have to go no motherfucking where. You don't have to go out. You don't really have to go that far to recruit people. Kids come to LSU. You don't have to go nowhere. You're there. True. You know what I'm saying? So, nevertheless, shout out to the LSU football team. Shout out to the coordinators for the LSU football team. Nevertheless,
and he's got the best staff by now. I mean, and I can really tell. And the blowout win they put on Georgia, I knew he had some game that was all Coach O game planning there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but and I know you can't stand the Jimmy, but we gotta give him credit. He game plans a whole lot of games, like in his season debut when they played BYU. That was all his game plan because he never allowed the defense to get past the 50-yard line. I mean, never allowed the BYU offense.
Yeah, unlike Tennessee did, which they bitch asses. They need their entire ass, so I'm still mad at that motherfucker. I don't give a fuck what you say about that goddamn BY Pepe Le Pew ass team. Them bitches should have never beat Tennessee in their dreams, much less in reality. Fuck them hoes. Right. Them bitches. But nevertheless, shout out to them. Shout out to the LSU team, man. They did what they needed to do. Coach O did what he needed to do by taking that motherfucking job and game planning for this year. Now, what they gonna do next year, we never know. Let's see if they're gonna get another top 3 recruiting class like they did this year. Because if they win a national title, I don't think they'll drop no lower than 5. I don't even see it because LSU is a hotbed for talent. You know what I'm saying? Or a hotbed for people to come to LSU. So nevertheless, man, shout out to them, man. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. Ohio State just scored their first touchdown. And Wisconsin put on another touchdown just that quick. Shit. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Damn, I gotta check that out once we get done with the show. Shit. 21-7?
21-7, Ohio State.
Oh shit. Well, let's not count Ohio State out that quick now. I mean,
because Justin Fields.
But if Wisconsin fuck around and blow them out, I think Wisconsin came to play, and that's finished. But regardless, if Ohio State lose, they still gonna be in the fucking playoff.
I don't see it. I think if they lose, they out of there. I mean, it'll shock me if they let them in there because I think the bowl selection committee objective is to get teams that have been conference winners. Conference winners in there, so it'll surprise me if they still end up in that bitch. Now we know LSU is a shoe-in. It could be if Utah had won, they would have got in. Oklahoma's a shoe-in. LSU's a shoe-in. Looking like Clemson may be a shoe-in. So we'll see what's gonna happen on this upset Saturday, because that's what the fuck this gonna be if them bitches end up beating these motherfuckers, man. Shit, you know. So,
all right. Who's your most disappointing team, and why?
I'm still sitting on Tennessee. Tennessee's disappointing in my opinion, because they should have a better record than what they did. Them and really Florida State. Florida State could have easily got into a bowl game, and Willie Taggart could have easily kept his job had he not been losing to the shoe shiners of the fucking ACC. There's no reason for them to lose to any of the teams that they lost to. Even with Boise State, they had a win. They had an easy win against Boise State. They had UVA, University of Virginia, beat. They had a lot of those teams they had beat, and they just didn't play up to expectations. So Tennessee and Florida State are the two most disappointing teams. You know, Tennessee's in the bowl game, but they disappointed because there's no way they should have lost to Georgia State, and they no way in fucking hell they should lose to BYU. No way in fucking hell. I don't give a fuck how good they goddamn offense is. Them bitch motherfuckers, they shouldn't have lost. And I'm still pissed off at them. And I'm forever gonna be pissed off for the next 20 years if I see them motherfuckers. So that's the disappointment. What were your disappointing team there?
I said it before and I say it again. Arizona State.
No.
Herm Edwards should fucking know better. I mean, you start out the season 5-1. Okay. I can understand you can lose somebody. Okay, yeah, they beat Oregon. And they beat Arizona, and they beat Oregon, they beat Arizona to salvage their season. So they 7-5. Okay. That 7-5 record should have been at least 9-3 or 8-4. You don't fucking lose to Oregon State. The cellar dwellers of the Pac-12. You don't do that. You got a team that you put up a good staff. You got a damn good team, but when when you let your running back run 36 times in every fucking game for some rip it energy drink after tax yards and shit like that, and you got a quarterback that can not only throw but run at the same time. You got receivers on the team that have been first, second, and third team all Pac-12 conference. It's something wrong with you. Now, Jimmy and I, we were proud when Herman got the first job at first. They got no bowl game in his first year. I don't want to see a pattern. I don't want to see the same Herm Edwards pattern where he'll have a good winning season and then he turn around and he'll have shitty seasons afterwards and he get fired. I don't want to see that no more. And another thing, he got fucking Kevin Mawai as a damn offensive line coach. Ain't no way in the hell you need to be starting a 17-year-old a player who had just turned 17 as a true freshman who won't be 18 until next year as your right tackle. And he's missing blocks. You got fucking Antonio Pierce, who's your damn linebackers coach and assistant defensive coordinator. That ain't getting that. Well, I'll take that back. The linebackers are fierce because they run a 3-3-5. But you just fucking disappointed me. Matter of fact, I had two teams that just disappointed me. My second one is going to shock you. But Herm should fucking know better. I mean, they had USC beat.
Yeah.
USC is a good loss. When you lose Oregon State, that's a bad loss. And he should know better. Now, my second team that disappointed me this year, despite them having a winning record,
Go ahead.
Alabama. Yeah, I said it. I'm a fan of Alabama. I'm an Alabama fan. I got a right to say they disappointed me this year.
Yeah,
I could write a book on what disappointed me with them, why they were so disappointed. Matter of fact, here's one chapter. Look at the dumbass shit Tua did in that LSU game. And then look at the dumbass shit he did in the Mississippi State game, which I have to fault both him and Nick Saban. Don't even get me fucking started on that shit.
Yeah,
I felt Tua really he didn't give a fuck. If I would have told Tua, no, you're not going in. I'm not risking it. But I want to finish the series sitting on the sideline. You're not going in no more.
Yeah, I put that on Saban more than I put that on him because he's the one. You're talking about a college kid. He has control over even if he was in NFL, even if he was in the NFL, he still has the control to say no, you're not going in. So he should have took control of that situation and been like, nah, you're not finna go in. We're not finna get you hurt. So Saban is more the fault at that because you're talking to a 20-something, 20, 21-year-old kid. So you got to take control of a situation as a grown ass man because Saban is almost 70 years old, and you let a 20-something-year-old try to jump your protocol. Nah, man, get out of here, man. So I say he should have stood on his nuts and told that man, you gonna sit your ass down. So
yeah, most definitely. Jimmy, who is your most surprising player and who is your most disappointing player?
In college football?
We're still talking about college football.
Jalen Hurts.
I got you beat, Justin Fields.
I don't think that was much of a shock. Me personally, I know that's your pick and you have a right to have your pick, but that's not much of a shock because he came out. When you're the number one player in the country, that's not a shock at all.
And the way you got treated by Georgia in that one game, he had a lot to prove.
Yeah, so that's not a shock at all. Yeah, so he was expected to do good. I'll say that. But the way Georgia treated him, that's more of a surprise than anything. And I feel like he should be playing over Jake Baum. That's what the fuck his bitch ass is. He lose 3 straight SEC championship games. Motherfuckers talking about, well, he's the first. Bitch, no the fuck he ain't. Goddamn Danny Werfel started 4 years in a fucking row, stupid motherfuckers. Who the fuck put that goddamn bullshit
out Wait. Say what now? Say that again.
You remember when the dumbass motherfucker talked about he was the first quarterback to win the SEC division 3 fucking years in a row? Bitch, no.
Who said that shit?
Some idiot from the SEC network that misrepresented their name, but it was some bullshit. You remember
that was past, but I remember that was past bullshit. Man, everybody was on his ass on Twitter about that. Said no, Danny Werfel, 4 straight years.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You're a whole idiot. I'm like, dude, do your fucking research and read a fucking book before you say some stupid ass shit like that. He's extra stupid.
I see he's extra stupid.
Extra stupid, man. Motherfucker, go read a book. Whoever put that out, I don't know who the hell did it, but he needed to go read a goddamn book. And while he need to sit in the front of the goddamn class and learn some goddamn lessons about football, sports. Period, motherfucker. Shit.
And I also said your disappointing player. I'm gonna tell you mine, Trevor Lawrence. Coming out the gate, you throwing more interceptions than touchdowns, and then you finally get your shit together. And he almost put Clemson out of the playoffs because of his play. And once again, the defense saves that Brent Venables and the crew once again saved basically Clemson's ass. But to put at, but to in a slight edge, little advantage on Trevor. The reason why he been playing like shit. The wide receiver core this year is garbage. But I got to give it. But got to give it to Clemson. Brent Venables had lost like 9 starters one year. Then the following year, they had the #1 defense in the nation and won a national title.
Mm-hmm.
So anything with Clemson, anything is possible. But yeah, Trevor, he won my disappointing player because of, he had a higher interception ratio than a touchdown ratio to begin with. And the shitty ass and the piss poor wide receiver cores he got too. That he made him look bad also. Who's your most disappointing, Jimmy?
Shit. That's harder than I thought. My most disappointing is goddamn Sam Ehlinger. If I could think of somebody disappointing off the top of my head, that motherfucker.
He's a hook looking ass.
That motherfucker disappointing. Because Texas should have been playing Oklahoma again in the Big 12 championship again, and they just in. That goes along with dumbass Herm Edwards. I mean Tom Herman, whatever the fuck that bitch. I don't give a fuck Tom Herman. Fuck Tom Herman, goddamn it. But his ass is disappointing too to go along with that motherfucker too. But nevertheless, Sam Ehlinger disappointed me because he was top. Because I didn't even know this, but I had to do research on this. But Sam Ehlinger was like in the top 7, top 5 in touchdowns scored last year, and now he looks like a Westlake hype job. Because a lot of those guys from Westlake and Lake Travis, they're typically get hyped up, out there at those particular schools out there in Austin. So, he's disappointing because I think he should have been. He could have, with the stats he had the year before, he should have been a candidate for the Heisman Trophy just based on the stats. Now he trash. Let's not get it twisted. But if you base it on stats, he should have been a candidate for the Heisman Trophy. But he disappointed me this year.
Oh, no doubt. Who was your, when it close on this note, on this one? Let's see, most surprising player, disappointing team. Who is your most surprising coach and your most disappointing coach, and why?
Most disappointing coach. Most disappointing coach. Most surprising coach and most disappointing coach. Oh my goodness. I say Tom Herman is the most disappointing.
Agree.
He's supposed to do better than that at fucking Texas. Another disappointment. I have to give him a tie with Willie Taggart.
Agreed.
Willie, him and Tom Herman should be doing better than what he did. I don't know what Texas record. I don't give a fuck at this point.
No, they both eligible. They 7-5. They went from 10-4 to 7-5.
They should have been better than that. The Big 10 championship should have been. They should have been in the fucking Big 10 championship. Fuck it. I stand on Big 12. I don't give a fuck about that goddamn conference. He should have been in the goddamn conference championship. Goddamn it, with his sorry ass. And Willie Staggart came to Florida State with that bullshit. There is no way you should be that goddamn disappointed. I'll get on this goddamn. Let me go on a goddamn whole ass rant for a goddamn second. I go on a motherfucking tooth, nails, and limb for these goddamn black coaches, and Willie Staggart coming goddamn Florida State and fuck this goddamn shit up. What the hell wrong with you? You should have stayed your goddamn ass at fucking Oregon. You should have stayed your black ass at Oregon. Should have stayed your black ass at Oregon. But yet you lose to Virginia where you had a 2-touchdown lead on. You lose to a noisy state with a 2-3 goddamn touchdown lead. You lose to did they lose to they lost to some sorry ass team that they shouldn't have lost to. You got.
I think I know who you're talking about. They barely beat them.
Nevertheless, these black coaches. Listen, black coaches. I'm talking about football. Basketball is obvious, but I've said black coaches. If you're gonna get a job, if you're gonna go from South Florida, for example, or go from a mid-major team, stick to the team that's gonna give you the best opportunity. This nigga should have been a conference champion in the Pac-12 in a big conference team. Now he let another dude come and take that shine away. You should have stayed your black ass in Oregon. Now you got to go back to South Florida and you got to stay longer than what you wanted to stay because your stupid ass wanted to take the Florida State job. Not the Florida, but the Florida State job.
And Quentin Flowers was asked about it. He said no comment on that.
But here's the thing. I don't knock a man for doing what the hell he need to do as a man. And
true enough.
But him leaving from South Florida, Oregon, okay, I'm down with it.
Yeah, I was down with him on that. But then when he went to Florida, I'm like, why Phil Knight didn't get? Where the fuck was Phil Knight?
Phil Knight, I guess he wanted some attention more than he wanted more attention for. He wanted some goddamn attention. He wanted some prestige by going to Florida State. He should have stayed his stupid ass in Oregon. Oregon, he wouldn't have had no pressure on him at all. As long as that motherfucker consistently had winning seasons, he wouldn't have had no pressure. And if he had won the Pac-12, he would have got a big ass contract extension. He dropped the ball by leaving Oregon. Black coaches, stop being so goddamn greedy. Whatever Florida State was offering, Phil Knight could have been offered you double that shit. Whatever Phil Knight says at Oregon, Oregon listens.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, Bill Ballmer, who was the founder of Nike, when Phil Knight came to pay him off in his settlement, the original founder of Nike, guess what? He was like, you know what? Take this goddamn shoe company. Because Nike started out it was a track coach named Bill Ballmer. If I'm saying his goddamn name right, please forgive me. His name is Bill. You can look this up right now if you speak. You know what I'm saying? I may be saying his name right, but I ain't far off. But his name is Bill. Mm-hmm. When Phil Knight came to him and been like, hey, let me buy this company or become an investor with your company. He invested in the company, be like, hey, I want to buy you out. Bill Ballmer was like, shit, okay, I'm not coaching no more because the original guy, he started he made the shoes from hand. He made Nike from hand. Phil Knight invested in him. He bought him out. And he was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You ready for your retirement settlement? Here you go. Bam. Let me take over the company. And Phil Knight has been running Nike every goddamn since. He went from a track and field goddamn shoe to a motherfucking basketball shoe to a goddamn golf. They got shoes for golf. How are you going to explain that? They got shoes for every goddamn fucking sport. But your black ass want to go to goddamn Florida State. And not Florida State, but Florida State. Florida State. You wouldn't have had no pressure on you. But these bitch ass old KKK ass fans, I mean, all the motherfuckers KKK. Eugene, Oregon is a racist ass town. But at least they would have had some respect for your name, goddammit. Shit. You know what I'm saying? All them bitches talking about if I hit Willie Taggart, I wouldn't hit Steve Spurrier. That little bitch ass shit. Yeah, I remember that goddamn bitch ass comment. You want to go to that goddamn comment.
Whoa, hold on. But what?
It was some comments on Twitter. No, it was a guy, one of them bitch ass Florida State fans. I mean, it's racist fans everywhere. But it was a bitch ass Florida State fan said some shit to that magnitude. I think Twitter deleted it. Twitter got on their ass. Twitter deleted it. But he said if I had a bus, I would hit Willie Taggart and I would miss Steve Spurrier. Some bitch ass. It was something to that effect. It was real fucked up. Like people don't catch the drift of that shit. But Eugene, Oregon is a hick town. But hell, at least they would have gave you, they would have had some respect for you in terms of you being the coach of Oregon. Okay, man, coach of Oregon. Okay, leave him alone. Shit, he winning over here. He started out with a winning record at Eugene. But then he gotta get me in and go to goddamn Florida State University. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Fuck, stay your black ass at Oregon. Now your assistant, I think it's the assistant. You know more about that bullshit than I do. But the assistant is reaping the rewards of fucking Willie Taggart. What Willie Taggart started at fucking Willie Staggart started at fucking at Oregon.
Mario Cristobal, yeah. He was his offensive line coach, and he got promoted to coach. Jim Leavitt, he left Oregon because he was Willie's defensive coordinator. Jim Leavitt gave some little bullshit ass reason as to why he wanted to leave, and he turned around. Now he was down there coordinating the defense at Florida State with Odell Higgins.
Mm-hmm. And when he started fucking up, he gonna be oh hell Higgins. Oh hell, you fucked up again, Mr. Higgins. You know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, man, Willie Taggart need his ass whooped, man. I get up on this motherfucker day in and day out. I defend motherfuckers like this motherfucker right here, and he sit up here and shit the bed at goddamn Florida State University when he should have stayed his black ass at Oregon. Now I'm glad he gonna probably get the South Florida job. We don't know. That's not written in stone yet. For all we know, they can hire somebody else. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying. And shout out to Charlie Strong, even though he didn't do so strong at Slaw, Florida. You know what I'm saying? At least he getting paid. He got a Texas payday and he got a goddamn South Florida payday. So
he just needs to sit his ass down.
Yeah, or be a defensive coordinator if he gonna go back to being a defensive coordinator, because he should have stayed his ass at Manorville. You know, Corey will disagree with me, but I think he should have stayed his ass in Manorville, because I think even though that goddamn nasty ass pizza Papa John, I think the Papa John's corporation would have came out some money to keep Charlie Strong happy. And
the only coach I know, Charlie Strong, the only coach I know that'll wear a turtleneck in the summer all throughout.
That motherfucker looked like a broke ass version of Kim and a broke ass version of Lexington Steele with no goddamn money. That's what goddamn Charlie Strong looked like. But nevertheless, at least Uncle Charlie got paid. I ain't mad at you, Charlie. Yeah, you was slow as hell at Texas. You was slow as hell in South Florida. But goddamn, why you ain't stay in Louisville, man?
Yeah, gold mine there, bro.
Yeah, he had a gold mine. I think because he had so much incoming talent coming in. Because I think Lamar Jackson was his recruit actually, and when they rehired Petrino, I want to say when they rehired Petrino, he came right in on Petrino. That's when Petrino told him he was going to be the quarterback. But that would have been amazing right there, man. Because Charlie Strong, I think Louisville would have competed better than what people saw. I think Louisville would have gave some teams in the ACC some hell with Lamar Jackson at quarterback, because he had no their defense was shitty during the Lamar Jackson.
Oh, hell yeah.
That defense was shitty. You had,
but under Charlie Strong, he would have been putting up them numbers, and that defense would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, that defense would have been way better. So I think, because him getting Teddy Bridgewater, that helped him out a lot. Teddy Bridgewater decommitted from Miami to go to Louisville. That helped him out a lot. And then him having Lamar Jackson in the process, that would have been beautiful. But nevertheless, Charlie, sit your ass down, enjoy your fruits of your labor. And step your turtleneck game up, man. You look ridiculous with that fucked up ass turtleneck, man.
Walking around long sleeve turtleneck and then khakis.
How you gonna have a long sleeve turtleneck
in the fucking summertime? Come on, man.
In a warm ass place, and not just the summertime, a warm ass state. The two of the warmest states in the union, goddamn it. Texas and goddamn, because it don't really get cold in Austin either. Matter of fact, Austin
I understand in Louisville you had to wear one.
Yeah, Louisville, you making sense, but Austin, it really never gets cold. It's actually hotter in Austin than it is in Houston. People don't realize that it's actually hotter because they're like
true.
The desert is like another 4 hours away, and nigga, why you got a turtleneck in that hot ass Austin, Texas, nigga? And then you went back to Tampa, Florida, and got a hot ass turtleneck. Man, get your Gulf Coast turtleneck having ass on, man. Shit. So
hiring shitty offensive coordinators and shit.
Yeah, but I'm not mad because his disappointment was almost expected. Because when he went to Texas, yes, Texas is the big money job, and you're gonna get a good settlement if they fire you. But with Charlie, with Charlie, he went away from his recruiting base. If he was gonna take a bigger job than Louisville, the only two jobs he should have took was an SEC team. He might have made it at Florida State. He might have, but that would have been a long shot for him to go to Florida State. It would have been a long shot before they hired him, but he went away from too far away from his recruiting base, which was Florida. Florida have always been his recruiting base in terms of recruiting, because he was a key guy recruiting not only defensive position, he was key at recruiting people in other skill positions. So, he went to going to Texas was a whole nother. He pretty much set himself up to fail at Texas. You know what I'm saying? So I think if he was gonna go anywhere, he should have went back to the SEC. But I'm not mad at Charles, but I'm disappointed at Willie Staggert. Because Willie Staggert could have did better than that, man. And I'm mad at as a motherfucker for me defending all these coaches out here, these black coaches out here. You shit the bed, Now, and I want to shout out somebody. James Franklin.
Yes. He deserved it.
You made the right decision. And
he deserved it.
And really, he's the reason why Norvell got the job, because they offered James Franklin. That dude would have probably been one of the highest paid, if not. I wouldn't say he was going. He would have been in the top 10. I'll say top 10 because the numbers was looking. He'd do a hell of a job at Penn State, and Penn State re-signed him. So I think he could do better at Penn State, but he's not pissing on himself at Penn State. No. So because he's the type of coach that can consistently give you 10-win seasons at Penn State. So I'm gonna tell y'all fans at Penn State something. Don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up now. Because James Franklin dodged the bullet with James Franklin not turning down that Florida State job. They were gonna give that dude the Florida State job out of everybody. Because Corey Wolf mentioned some guys. And I think a couple of guys, since they turned it down, Norvell was like pretty much, I'll say the last top guy they was looking at. And, Franklin re-signed with Penn State, which was the smart thing to do. You just brought in a number 6 recruiting class in the country. The year before that, you brought in, I want to say the number 4, number 7, some shit like that. He's been bringing in the same type of recruiting classes, Michigan and AKA shits again, and Ohio State and Corey Wolf's thing, Ohio State. So he's been bringing top level type recruiting classes. So it didn't make any sense for him to, leave that. Now, when you stop being able to recruit those type of classes that you've been recruiting, then it'll be probably time to leave. Now, if your recruiting class dropped to number 6 to number 20 something, yes, might be time for a coaching change, but it ain't time yet. Mm-hmm. It ain't time yet. So he made the right decision. Yeah, Corey Wolf was on that boy to get that Florida State job, and I ain't mad at you, Corey. I know you want the brother to get paid, but Franklin made the best move for him. I'm not in. I don't like that town. Let's not get it twisted. I do not like State College, Pennsylvania. That's a fucked up ass town. But he made, in terms of him, for him doing what's best for his family in Eden, I'm glad that brother Eden. And I hope Penn State win their bowl game, whatever bowl game they're going to come out in. So, respect.
Most definitely. I got to say my surprising coach, Well, actually, James Franklin is my surprising coach because he never surprised. He never ceases to amaze me with the job what he's doing at Penn State. But let's keep it also in the conference. Ryan Day from Ohio State,
Mm-hmm.
most talented team. The most talented. They are the most talented. Ohio State is the most talented and most loaded team there ever is in the Big Ten. And right now, I'm pretty sure Wisconsin and Paul Chris is giving them hell right now in this championship game. But yeah, I think Ryan Day's done a damn good job. And been little what people don't know it. Ryan Day is from that Chip Kelly tree, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not an asshole like Chip Kelly. He'll be savage. He's savage as fuck on a lot of shit too. But
Mm-hmm.
I like the job. I like the job Ryan's doing.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt on that.
Mm-hmm. And the good thing that happened is one good thing that has happened is both of the Memphis Tiger teams that won, because I'm thinking Penny finna shit the bed against UAP, and they pulled it out by 7, and that's one thing I'm like, dude, why y'all put these motherfuckers on the goddamn schedule? What was y'all thinking? Putting UAP on the goddamn schedule, but they pulled it out. You know, we need some tough games. I'm talking shit, but we pulled it out, and that's a good thing. I'm like, please don't lose to these motherfuckers right here, because y'all lose to these motherfuckers, they gonna go take y'all from 15 to out of the top 25, niggas. So I want Memphis to stay in the top 25 as long as possible. Now we play Tennessee next week, so that'll be a good loss.
Oh, that's gonna be a good one. That's a good loss.
If we lose, but nevertheless, I hope we beat the shit out them hoes. I want us to
Whoa, you wait a minute. You a Rick Barnes fan, and now you cheering against Rick Barnes?
I just told. What did I tell you about Tennessee? When they play Memphis, I'm a Memphis fan. And other than that, I fucks with Tennessee.
Okay.
Most Tiger fans and Tennessee fans are the same way. When people root like in Tennessee fans like, and I've had people from Knoxville say this. When we don't play Memphis, we like Memphis. When we play Memphis, we hate each other. So that's the way it is. We're not like Carolina, with NC State. We want NC State to lose. Carolina fans want NC State to lose at all costs. Carolina fans won't do the puke devils to lose at all costs. It's not like that in Tennessee. Tennessee is different than those states. And that's because we're not playing in the same conference as those teams. You know what I'm saying? Florida, University of Florida fans are somewhat like that with Tennessee's. Because, when Florida, Louisville and Kentucky fans are the same way. I have to say that. Even though they're rivals, they're the same way. So that's not uncommon. Just like, well, I can't say the same for USC and UCLA. They hate each other. They truly hate each other.
Right.
That's a little different. So yeah, I want Memphis to kick their goddamn ass for a change. But when it's all said and done, go Tennessee. But other than that, fuck them hoes right now.
I got you.
Yeah, that's how it
is. I got you. But yeah, I mean, James Franklin and Ryan Day are two coaches that, James Franklin doesn't surprise me because I feel he does a good job. As far as like with his quarterbacks and everything else goes. My problem with, however, I do have one problem with James Franklin though. That was he shits the bed in games that he's supposed to win. Especially in that bowl game when they were favored to beat Kentucky because Kentucky didn't have not a fucking run defense or a pass defense to speak of, and they lost that fucking game. I'm like, wow. Because they let this defensive end from Kentucky just have his way with him. And I don't even think that dude even in the NFL if he playing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn, how the hell? I'm like, damn, they don't have a run offense. And then in that game, yeah, I'm going back on it. And also in that game, they didn't put no pressure on the damn quarterback. And they don't have no passing offense. So I'm like, you focus attack their running game. That's what you would have did, and then stop the pass game. You got to beat. They let Kentucky beat them.
Yeah.
Like the fuck?
Yeah, and back in the day, back in the day, Louisville, used
And Louisville the number one team in the nation, not right now.
in basketball.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just thought about that. Yeah, but we gonna see how long that lasts. We gonna see how long that lasts because everybody who's been getting that number one seed.
I like what that coach said. He said he felt they don't deserve it yet. He said ain't nothing but a target.
Yeah, it's a target on your back, but you in the ACC, y'all paid all that money to go to the ACC. So hey, just go on, get them ACC L's. You know what I'm saying? Just go and get them ACC L's and University of Virginia, man, Purdue took out some frustration on them hoes.
Ooh wee, 69-40.
They played their defense and dropped their ass off on offense. I'm like, damn, they made y'all pissed them hoes out. What y'all shouldn't have never beat them the way y'all beat them hoes. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, man, Virginia gonna have to step it up offensively, man. Y'all gonna have to. Y'all want to win another national title? Y'all cannot play that slow down bullshit. And then with them talking about killing the shot clock, that going from the 24 to the 32nd, I think it's going to apply in the 2021 season, 2021 season. So y'all can't run that bullshit no more. I mean, back in the day you could with when the shot clock, the non-shot clock era, but now 24 seconds. They go to once they go to the 24 seconds. Oh man, you better score, motherfucker. I mean that's the only way that slow ass bullshit gonna work. If you have a good ass score, or you got a motherfucker good ass big man that's gonna score. Other than that, that shit is hard to win a national title with that. But they didn't win a national title being slow. They won a national title really making the necessary plays to win and barely winning some of those fucking games. So. My boy, I can't think of that mother. Bennett.
Tony Bennett.
I respect it, brother.
Tony Bennett. Don't put my name with Trump because I ain't in it.
I ain't in it, nigga. Y'all, we already limited to. We already can't recruit worth a damn. So shit, don't put my name with Trump. I don't blame that motherfucker, man. I don't like that motherfucker.
We are mad respectfully decline.
That was the best thing that motherfucker did ever.
Willie D said that was some savage shit. He said what Tony Bennett don't know. He was savage.
Yeah, we all know it was bullshit. We know you lying, Tony. But hey, I'll take it for the day. But man, y'all got to step in. Y'all got to step y'all off.
What?
Just go to what won y'all that national title. The way y'all won that national title is y'all made points, man. You can't sit up there and hold and think a team is not gonna score. That's what happened with you with Texas Tech. Texas Tech offense was better than what the first 20 minutes of the game showed y'all. And that's why they started going back. That's why the game went into the 80s. Their offense, yeah, they got defense, but their offense, they were scoring with Gonzaga. Anytime you score with Gonzaga, you got a good offense. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just they focused on defense, but they could score when they needed to score. They wasn't one of those teams that get into board fest as hell. We can score. Shit. We run the Bobby Knight's motion offense. So shit, we can score on this motherfucker. We just showed y'all what's up. And that's because they was trying to play that slow ass bullshit without doing any kind of scoring. Had they scored with it, okay, that would have been a perfect game, but y'all let them come all the way back, just like you almost let Auburn come all the way back. So, nevertheless, man, shout out to Tony, man, and hopefully they have an interesting season going into the ACC play.
Oh, no doubt, because college football is gonna be drawn to a close, and then we're gonna be moving on to college basketball. We're gonna be talking about bracketology pretty early and all that shit, but that ain't gonna be us. So But other than that, man, you got anything you like to add, dude?
No, man, good show, great show, man.
Oh, no doubt. And then you just gotta say, get ready to stay tuned for the extra tomorrow, depending on us how our schedules are. Cause I know I'm getting ready to hit the bed in a minute, man. So get up early so I can get ready for work. I'm be pulling me some OT this week. So shit. OT this week, then shit. I'm pretty sure Jimmy he gonna be pulling him some OT all next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be OT for me next week. Definitely, definitely OT.
Cause shoot, Amazon damn, I said my job. They were blowing me up. I apologize. They were notifying me about all the overtime availables. And I looked, I was like, whoa, shit. 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, 5 hours. I'm like, okay. So, but I'm taking what I can do, man. But it is what it is. So other than that, on behalf of Jimmy JSmoove, this is Craig Smith II saying good night. God bless. If you're out partying on a Saturday night or whatnot, don't drink and drive and be careful out here. And if you're also working on a Saturday night, be careful going home. And we will stay tuned to us tomorrow as we will preview what bowl games and everything else and other happenings that's been going on in sports world and in life. So until then, peace out.
Yeah, peace out.